I also saw a clip of you speaking. Like the first part of the clip was you speaking from 10 years ago and it was on a teleprompter. And then it was fast forwarded to your speech. You gave a TEDx talk this past fall. And just, the 10-year transformation that you've made. What was your speaking journey like? Did you listen to a lot of other speakers and try to figure out how they were doing it and try things out for you? Or did you just kind of fumble through it?
Yeah, so that's so funny. That was a post that I did right around, I guess when the new year changed. It's so funny. I had to go back and find that footage. The funny part is I thought I was so good that night, and now when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that is so painful. But I love that for the point that everyone has to start somewhere. I had started years before that. That just happened to be that was audience. There was 10,000 people at that event. It was the National Association of Broadcaster, some like 50th year or whatever. It was this huge event for me. It was the biggest event I had ever spoken for. I was sweating on my feet. I was so freaking nervous. And it was just a disaster debacle when I look back. However, I'm super proud of myself for taking that stage. I'm still so proud of myself because every time you take the bigger stage, it doesn't really matter how you do. So what? The moment's over. People are on their phones anyways. No one's going to remember, but you'll remember, like, I had the courage to get up there and do that. I can do the next thing. So I look back with a lot of love for myself when I see that clip, even though it pains me to see it. But just to let the truth be known, that was a decade ago, but I had spoken since I was 20. I've been in sales leadership roles since I was 22, was the first time I was a sales manager, and I've been in management leadership since. So for 2 decades, I started speaking then because when you're a sales leader, you have weekly team meetings with your account executives. That's how I started. So it started with a group of whatever, 10 or 15 account executives, and I would stand up and lead a team meeting every week, which that's a speaking engagement. It's practice. And so every time you stand up and you're giving a speech and you have to freewheel it and you're not reading off a teleprompter, you're developing that ability to improvise and speak freely and own a stage and have a presence. And I'm sure I don't have footage of those meetings, but I'm sure they got better over time. And then my audiences would get bigger and then I'd get promoted. And then it would, I'd speak for the marketplace when I would go to Michigan and there'd be 400 people there and I would get up and speak. And then it became on stages for different events and there'd be 1,000 people, so it's all these little tiny baby steps when you look back. And the in between was the weekly meetings I did every week, no matter wherever I was, small or large audience, it didn't matter. So it's putting those reps in. And then I started working with charities about 10 years ago, and I started speaking for charity events. So that put me in a new arena where I wasn't as familiar with the material, which was really helpful. The more you take yourself out of that norm and get out of just that media circle I was in, that was really helpful to say I could do this in a different environment, in a different arena with different people. And then you just keep growing and growing from there. So it was definitely not an overnight experience. And I've never been so scared in my life as I was to give my TEDx talk. And that's after 25 years of speaking. So I guess my point is that you've got to start somewhere. The key is to start today. The key is to start with just speaking up in a meeting. The next time, you're in a meeting, raise your hand, contribute your thoughts. That's your first speaking engagement. Start somewhere. And the next time, ask if you can share your idea. And the next time, pitch yourself for advancement and promotion, and then start leading the team meetings and know that you're on that path. Your path doesn't have to look like mine. You could decide a year into it. A great example, a really strong female speaker, her name's Kendra Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Ben, do you know who she is?
Oh, yeah, I do. She spoke at our events about a year ago.
Oh, good. Okay. So she's great. She's been on my podcast, but she went into the speaking business without a business acumen, without a stronghold in anything. She just decided, I'm going to be a speaker and I'm just going to start telling my story and what's important to me. So she did the complete opposite of what I did. And so my point is, you can just go be a speaker and go her route. That works too. I didn't do that. I look back now and I wonder why I didn't, because they got, speakers get paid a heck of a lot more than what a lot of those positions are that I was sitting in for years. So it's really up to you. You can either put the reps in and become more confident before you put yourself on the big stages, or you can be like Kendra and just go for it without that other experience and try. It's up to you to define what does that path to success look like for you.